Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Arctic Edge Ice Arena. Side of tonight's matchup between your Oklahoma Sooners and the Illinois Fighting Illini. Hope you guys had an amazing New Year's and holidays as the Sooners look to get started on a warpath in their second half of the season in order to make the ACHA National Tournament. Willie, your thoughts on what it's going to take for this team to be in St. Louis again?
Well, I'll tell you right now, they are starting behind the eight ball. That first half of the season it left much to be desired for the Oklahoma Sooners, and they're going to have to start here with a tough 2 games against the Illini.
Yeah, and so the top scores, the way it shaped out for Oklahoma, Charlie Blake, Michael Amala, and Carson Spear were the members for OU who finished in the top 3. On the other side of things for Illinois, Gregory Ettingen, Carson Mitchell, and brother David Ettingen. They have a lot of brothers on this roster for Illinois, similar to OU, will round things out in their top 3 scoring department. On the other side of things, it's kind of been an interesting behind the scenes for Oklahoma. A couple of departures from the likes of Blake Swearingen and Nate Monticelli, and then the re-arrival of Aaron Best post-shoulder injury. Willie, why don't you tell us a little bit more about how that went for Aaron?
Well, Aaron obviously dealing with that major shoulder break of the collarbone. There we go. And just having to rehab, working through the rehab. I was obviously good friends with Aaron, and so watching him rehab that throughout these last couple months, he's very excited to get back on the ice.
Yeah, and wear that C once again. Hopefully he can last a little bit longer than the 20 minutes or so he did first time around. But, you know, from everybody I've talked to, and, you know, you look back at the records, I don't believe OU has faced Illinois ever in a game. And so I don't know during your time at OU if you'd ever faced a team that you guys had played for the first time ever, and kind of just what's to be expected of that.
I mean, obviously not a lot of bad blood because you don't know the other team, right? I mean, this is the first time that I know of that OU has ever faced Illinois. And I believe the first time Illinois has even been to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever come down to play UCO at all either.
Yep.
And so it should be an interesting game. I'm really interested to see how both teams kind of go at each other at the beginning of the game, if they play slow or they try and establish their own game at the start.
Well, and the other thing that they also have to keep on their mind is they are playing UCO Sunday at 2 o'clock. And so they'll have a rough or, you know, very physical ACHA WCHL 3 games in a row to where they have to be really smart and tactical with how, you know, strenuous they want to get in certain games. And really, I feel like the mentality of, you know, sort of picking your spots, if you would, as a team that you have to really just hone in on. Willie, if you'd like to speak a little bit more about that, you know, when you guys got those 3-game series occasionally that would pop up.
Yeah, obviously those 3-game weekends are big weekends, 1 for points and 2 for health. I mean, in junior hockey, we used to play them all the time, as anybody that played NA3 as well as the Null can tell you. It is a rough, that Sunday game, you're hurting, especially if, like, you're a big contributor on the team. First line, second line guys, you kind of got to pace yourself to an extent. I know, obviously, you want to establish your game early and really get into it, but if you're an Illini, you don't really want to put yourself out there all the way in these first 2 games, because you have a tough UCO game at the end of the weekend.
I'm sure they know, but obviously Sooner fans can remember last month how physical UCO can get at times, and it's definitely has to be on the back burner of their minds as they go through these first 2 opening games. We'll be right back with the start of Puck Drop. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Sooner fans. We just had a beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner by our new PA address announcer, Andrew Shepard, who works with OU football and other OU athletics as the PA. Very, very pronounced introduction to his first game going with OU hockey, and a beautiful voice of his serenading us, getting us ready to go for this game.
Yeah, just a classic start for the OUPA not to work again.
Normally it's the orchestrated version on Spotify, but unable to get that working. But here we go. Aaron Best out there to start the game with Garen Narvaez, Will Blake, Ryan Carr, and Alex Kagan. Sooners take the opening faceoff. Played back to Carr. Chips it up, looking for Narvaez at the half wall. Couldn't find him. Turned over. Anderson looks to swing it in for Illinois. Cut off by Best. Getting active early is Aaron Best. Mateve dumps it down. Solkin in net. Turns it over. Narvaez in early. Down to a knee was Mateve. Ross. Shot from the point. Tipped out in front by Narvaez and just wide. Kept in for a moment. Say no to the high sticking. Or played with a high stick, rather. Puck chipped forward to Verassi, dumped in. Ivan Gutierrez chases after it. Played in behind the net from Forden. And a turnover here from Kagan spells trouble for the Sooners early on. Puck held in at the blue line. Kagan out there for a while now, chasing after it. Able to eventually gather the puck, flip it out, center ice.
Both Illinois and OU starting with some speed early. Not a lot of hits being thrown to open up the game, so not trying to establish the body yet.
Yes, Oklahoma's not given a proper ACHA welcome just yet. A spear on his backhand tipped out just wide of Solkin. Bouncing puck for a centering chance is turned over. Dumped in. Illini take a line change. Mitchell heads off. Pollock steps on. Ettingen. An interesting mix of some nameplates and others without them on this roster, kind of littered throughout. Not sure what the story is behind that, but
just making your job harder.
A little bit. That's why I got their roster pulled up on my mobile device. Puck played into the corner. Skylar Bockham centers for Tristan Glass. Just didn't catch enough of it. Glass in the corner again. Gets pinned up into the boards. Louis Iandoli has him in a fit. Iandoli comes away with it. Flipped out, not cleared entirely. Shot from distance. Swallowed up by Solik.
Yeah, kind of a new look third line with Bockham, Glass, and Payne. I don't think we saw this at all last semester. And then Carr and Kagan, I have a feeling, will be getting a lot of the start of the game.
Well, and for power plays too, probably, or they'll try to work them in there.
They're definitely going to be the number one D pairing for Huberty on the back end.
Tie up on the face-off. Illini take possession. Good stretch pass, and the other way goes Illinois. Dancing into the zone, shot from the face-off dot. Never found its way to the net. Carr nearly kicked it into Forden. Dangerous play there.
Nicholas going to step up on the rush here.
Stick fight. Carr gets his stick lofted into the air. A couple bodies go down right around the blue line for OU. Kagan getting that physicality ramped up. This one is not. Oh, it did have enough for icing. Just enough. Say the officials. Offensive zone face-off for the Illini.
Yeah, I thought they called that one off, but I guess not. He blew it dead, and now the Illini kind of got a couple Sooners that are a little tired out there.
Yeah, Kagan's been out there for pretty much all 3 minutes of this game. I think he maybe got up for a brief moment, but...
Yeah, and the Sooners... I don't know, I think the refs were trying to figure out who's on the ice still.
That didn't seem like the correct personnel.
No, Carr got off. A little scot-free there.
Yeah. Joy in. Working around the face-off dot. Dumps it off for Carson Glass. Carson Glass rotates it back to Dustin Wolf, or Brennan Wolf, rather. Now Gutierrez off the bank, surveys, trying to work it down low. Ross for the Illini. Poor clearance there. Faceoff will stay in the offensive zone for Oklahoma.
And Davidson's going to be rotating through this fourth line today with Joy, Bells, and K. Glass. And it looks like Spear, Charlie Blake, and Amala are going to come out here. See if they can catch him on this no change.
Yes. Yeah, and so Caden Martin, other OU player, out of contention due to that suspension. I haven't seen Josh McDonald on the bench.
He is also out.
Okay.
He has an illness. Yes. Found that out when I showed up to the rink, and I got told.
Upper body injury. They'll never say illness. Well, they'll say illness. They won't say anything else in the NHL. I love how they do that.
Yeah, but this one's actually an illness.
Yes, yeah. Illinois looking to work it out. They've been kind of penned in for a little bit from Oklahoma. Eventually they do. Mitchell takes it away. Dumped in, but had a weird pace to it, so they couldn't touch it. Otherwise it would have been offsides. Chasing after it, Zach Rupich. That's a nice move there.
Illinois really not being able to get their breakouts going as clean as they're looking for. I mean, they've had a couple opportunities for some 2-on-1s or 3-on-2s, and just haven't gone through.
Kagan. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Oh,
you could see him widen up for that for a while. Griffin Joy takes it away, turns it over. Not held in by Hubschek. Mitchell dumps it in.
Yeah, you got some difficult last names.
They do.
Also, I got Mitchell down.
Mitchell, yeah. Shot from the point. No problem there for Ford and Zach Rupich on that one. Sooners looking to get reestablished here. They'll go off for a change. Josh Bell steps on for Spear. Glass able to get just enough on it.
And if I'm Pete, I'm telling this fourth line to get the puck in deep and go throw some hits. Let's start to establish the game plan and really get it going.
Bad turnover there by Gutierrez. Shot no problem for Forden.
And turnovers like that will not make Pete happy.
David Ettingen, leading scorer for the Illini.
Yeah, kind of just a little back and forth to start out here. Nothing really established in the kind of the chances department. OU had a little bit of down low that they got going, but no real opportunities.
We'll see if Garrett Narvaez can change that as he works up the rush with Aaron Best, who's trying to step in there for his first look tonight. Got greeted kindly right in the crease. Scrum ensues right in front of us. Best enters for Oklahoma, and he gets hammered into the boards. Collects his stick, gets up. Wolf chopping at it, comes down. Wolf just does clear it. Anderson back to work for Illinois.
Yeah, a little lucky there off the stick. Illinois could have really turned that around and gotten an opportunity.
Really good stretch pass. Puck worked in deep. Big check there by Wolf. They're going to call that a penalty.
Yep, they're going to call that one interference.
Interesting.
I thought it was within that, that two-step mark that they kind of talk about, but
So Jacob Brzezinski draws it. Brennan Wolf will sit down in the sin bin. Give you an Illini power play for the first time tonight. Sooners second in the WCHL in their penalty kill first half of the season. That's something that they've feels like have been pretty good at the last couple of years. Always, at the very least in their special teams, has had a pretty stout penalty kill.
Yeah, a lot of veterans on the team that know how to run the PK system.
Short-handed chance here for Nate Payne. He's got Will Blake. Payne centers it to Will Blake. Shot just wide. Might have caught a piece of something. It never settled on a Blake stick. But two of the old heads going at it for a short-handed opportunity. You really don't see that much. Mitchell holds the line, looking for a tip down low. It's beautifully set up, just caught up in the traffic. Worked back up high. Chance here for the Illini once more. That puck's going to exit the zone all the way down. Arthur Pollock couldn't get a hand on it.
Yeah, and I believe that pass over from Nate Payne when he was on the 2-on-1 with Will Blake got tipped before it got to Will Blake, so it was rolling on him. And just unfortunate to miss the net.
Mitchell and Raz trying to work it in. Continuous effort from the OU penalty kill here early on has been the story. Not allowing Illinois to get set up really at all. Just one blocked shot on the power play. Sooners with the best chance so far during this escapade.
Really, this is the first time the Illini have attacked with any speed. Just getting clogged up in the middle the entire time.
Ettingen works it down low. Couldn't hold it in. And neither could Anderson. They have to cycle. Anderson turning on the Jets. Anderson holds up around the faceoff dot. Drops it back. Illinois surveying opportunities here. Back to the point to Ettingen. Work down low. Swung wide. Anderson. Back to Ettingen. Down low. Shot blocked. Power play time winding down for Oklahoma, or for Illinois. Mativ centers it, shot, rebound loose, and a great stick by Charlie Blake on that effort, not allowing the second chance.
Yep, and Forden making his first big save of the game and getting himself right into it, ready to play.
Ettingen's still out there. Everybody else has changed, so he'll head off. So will Nate Payne after he works this puck into the zone. It was tipped at the tipped before the line, so no icing. Amala in there.
I think they have Nate Payne on defense with Carr.
Okay, we've seen that before. Turnaround shot. Amala still looks scrambling. Net kind of staying on the pegs, kind of not.
Somewhat. Arctic edge pegs.
Yeah.
But I wonder with the departure on defense as well as Josh McDonald being out, if Nate Payne's going to get some D time today. As well as some offense time.
Amala dumps it in. Baucom chases after it. Kept up by Rupich. Spear in there.
This is Davidson's first shift of the game, so
yes,
he's ready to get in there.
Out there with Tristan Glass and Baucom. Davison kind of gets tripped up and then incidentally knocks down an Illini. Good play there by Kagan to paw that down. Enters, dumps it in, takes a spill. Puck still held in by Kagan. He lost it in his equipment. Did exit the zone, however. Now a chance potentially brewing for Illinois, but good work by Tristan Glass, and he hits a reverse check. We're going to get hand pass here, not a penalty. Yeah, reverse check on Alexander Matiev.
Yeah, and Tristan Glass was the last man back, and he made a strong stick play because that puck was bouncing all around, and he was able to get it through two of the Illini attackers and then throw that nice reverse check that was coming at him.
Yeah, it seems like Illinois on their breakouts are really trying to set up high and establish a lot of stretch passes, which is one thing that I feel like Oklahoma defends very well in this regard. Turnaround shot from Best. It was kind of a muffin, but gave Sulik a problem. Now another shot from Wolf is blocked by Mitchell. Carr, good job holding up the puck. Just does stay in from the likes of Best. It's worked down low. Cleared all the way out. No, it's not. It's pawed by Carr. He couldn't eye it. Now a breakout chance here for Illinois. Saucer pass in, and what a save by Forden on Ettingen. Puck cleared up and out of play. Yeah, Tomasz Lazinski on that last rush setting up. That was a beautiful saucer pass over the stick of Wolf.
Just able to beat Carr after he paws it out of midair and get that little mini 2-on-1 with a back checker. And then Forden just able to come across and make a strong save.
Sooners break out after the face-off. They've kind of lulled offensively a little bit. Unable to keep it in. Really good stretch pass for the other Ettingen. A good stick there from Ivan Gutierrez.
Yeah, like you were saying, the Illini are really looking for that stretch pass, and the Sooners are usually a team that sits back and able to knock those out of midair all the time. So I wonder if they'll be switching up their game plan to kind of cycle somebody through down low or cut across the far blue line for a stretch pass.
If I were to have to guess, they would probably – seems like what they're trying to do right now is just see how many times they can do it before they start seeing cracks form in the defense and then just catch them off guard.
Well, yeah, once you get some tired bodies, but everybody's still ready and healthy to play right now, you know? You got to get some thrown hits like that one.
Trenton Swain gets buried by Anderson in front of the penalty boxes. I believe it's one of his first games. It's Gutierrez. Good job beating out that icing. I believe it's one of his first games since I think the Arkansas series or the Oklahoma State series in Stillwater, or in Tulsa rather, where he got suspended and then came back but was not in the lineup, I think, for most of, if not all of, last semester.
I know he was on the bench for a couple games, and he might have gotten a couple shifts here and there, but obviously didn't see him as much as he would probably hope. Or, you know.
Tristan Glass on that last chance for the Sooners crushes an Illini in front of their own bench. And another hit by Skylar Baucom. Now we're starting to see the physicality chip up. Say welcome to the WCHL.
Yeah, now it's starting to become a WCHL game with some bodies being thrown. The game opening up a lot more also.
They want Randall's in on Ross. Rass worked out the blue line shot from the distance on Forden, tipped. Forden sprawling, gets ran into. So does the net.
And I don't think Forden saw that puck. It kind of just hit him, and he was able to locate the rebound and jump on it.
Randall's was trying to clear out his assignment at the same time that Forden was sprawling over to that puck and sent them both flying into the cage.
And the Illini kind of getting their feet moving now. I would say maybe the bus legs are wearing off a little bit. I obviously don't know when they got in, but
I believe, well, their bus rolled up right around when I did, sharply at 5 o'clock. But, yeah, if they came in last night, or I bet they drove down today. Especially if
they
they're
might
already
have done what a kind of Colorado, like what we do, or what OU does for Colorado when I was on the team. We would go out the night before and kind of drive through the night to get there and then have lunch in Colorado and come through.
Ross in, blocked by Carr. Kagan, high flip, trying to work Mike Amala on a chase. Mike Amala in, slap shot just wide. Blake holds the line, fans on it. Still holds the puck in the zone, though. Now Blake in, shot, what a save. Couple of good chances here. Grady Solkin's had the answer for him so far.
Yeah, Solkin getting into the game also. Him and Forden might be having a goalie duel tonight.
Carr holds the point for Oklahoma. Bodies in front of the net looking for a tip. Off that shot by Carr. Dribbles wide. Pass held in by Carr. Now the other way goes Illinois. Kagan, the lone man back there to stop it. Shot saved by Forden with the blocker. And Kagan finishes his assignment into the boards. Anthony Verassi, that last chance for Illinois. Spear, nice move. Silky mitts from him. Blake. Working it low. Best in there now. Spear.
Spear is exhausted. He needs to move this puck back into the O-zone and get a change.
Spear will eventually head off. Not without giving a hack.
He just took a penalty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
slash.
That's an undisciplined penalty as well. Just no need to do that. You're in front of your own bench, right?
You could hear it probably from our mics.
But we'll see this Illini power play, see if they can set it up a little bit better now that they're getting some they've gotten some ice time under their belt, and I think their legs are officially coming back to them.
Well, and we're entering the Sooner magical 5 minutes to end the period time frame as well, so we'll see how these counterbalance each other.
Yeah, we'll see 4 goals in this last 5 minutes, as per usual.
Illinois takes the face-off working it back. Anderson holding the line. Good poke check by Tristan Glass. Couldn't get his bearings under him. Anderson also got there very quickly. Took a good angle of pursuit there to track him down.
Yeah, that red line's gotten me a couple times, too. Not a fan of it.
Father Time catches up with everybody. Mativ working in on Ettingen, trying to get it wide. Nate Payne has time to go get a cup of coffee before he clears this puck. Heads up.
No, we're good.
Oh, stays in the zone. It got out. I thought it maybe clipped the...
No, so it clipped an Illini stick off the glass and then went way up in the air. It didn't end up hitting anything.
Pucks are at risk of damaging the sprinkler system in here is what I've just noticed after that last one. I think I saw a clip of that happening at a game or a rink and just ruining the entire game. So.
I know it's happened to me before. When I was playing in California, we hit a sprinkler system, which was hilarious.
I'm sure for you guys, not the people that have to clean it up and deal with the aftermath, but...
No, we got to go get donuts earlier because it was at 6 in the morning.
Illini still can't get in the offensive zone. Even on the power play, their entries are looking, well, worse for wears for Rossi. Trying to establish some sort of presence. They know if the puck exits, the odds of them getting it back in are slim to none. Shot from distance, tipped out for faceoff. Rossi caught him. Shot from Wisniewski.
And it looks like the Illini are kind of playing that overload and then trying to get Mitchell to squeak out for a one-timer in the Ovechkin area is what I like to call it now. You know, greatest goal scorer of all time. Not a big deal.
No. I can do that in my sleep. Sooners just trying to clear. Carson Glass on his backhand does get it out, and that'll cut off precious power play time for Illinois. Adrian Wisniewski working it into Ross. Ross dumps it in. Carson Glass meets it first, though. Clears it out.
And the Illini just not coming in with any speed. I mean, they had 4 guys sitting on the blue line waiting for the puck to move into the zone. And it gets turned over right away.
Yeah. That's an adjustment they will likely make at the end of this first period, but the Sooners go 2 for 2 on the PK to open up this game. McLaughlin and on Wolf. Rosansky working hard, puck into the bench. Look out. Yeah, not much. Few chances from that Baucom line out there for the Sooners with Spear. But other than that, from the Sooners, it's kind of just been a here and there, here and there.
It's been on the PK. I mean, with Will Blake and Nate Payne on the 2-on-1, and then the possible opportunity for Tristan Glass, although I think he was going to get caught no matter what.
Aaron Best trying to work around his man. Got his stick caught up. Now Blake in on Berkey. Centering feed for Best. He gets nailed. Sent flying, but gets up okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. That was a little high in my opinion.
I'll take your word for it.
But Will Blake having a great pass out front to Aaron Best. And then I didn't see, I believe it was Narvaez was in front of the net, and just the puck ended up under Aaron Best and couldn't get it out underneath him.
Icing waved off. Griffin Joy, first one to it for OU, but fought off and taken away, and that's a trip. No, it's not. Wow. Illinois might as well have gotten their third power play of the game. Probably should have there.
Yeah, a little stick caught up. I guess refs didn't think it was enough. Maybe a little dramatics from the Illini player, although I didn't think so.
Zupic still working in. Gutierrez trying to clear it. Sooners kind of being lethargic right now with his fourth line out here.
Yeah, and the defense not really able to get a change on that last rush.
Great angle from Davison off the pass from Bells before he gets stapled to the boards. Trying to make one last effort on this shift for those two. Kagan, good stick in there. Flings it over to Carr. Carr trying to get it out. Puck flung in deep. Kagan has time and space to work with here.
I was going to say, don't pass that to Joy. That's a suicide pass. Anderson, I believe, was about to step up and deliver a nice hit. But Kagan smartly just dumping it into the O-zone.
Stretch pass just missed Mitchell on the bank. Trenton Swain in there. Backham working at the half-wall shot, tipped up high. Looked like it caught a couple of different things. Ford dribbles harmlessly out of the zone into the stick of Tristan Glass, who turns it over at center ice. Illini working in. Ettingen wrist one blocker save from Ford and does a good job sending that into the corner. Now a centering feed. Evades the stick of the point man, Wisniewski, and once again, Sooners just doing some good defensive work here, but at the same time, the repetition of what the Illini are trying to try out isn't really working for them. Narvaez toe drag shot. Clearance from Mitchell's bunted, but not out. Now Best, his shot rides the stick of an Illini defender and out of play.
It's interesting. The Illini have had more opportunities to establish themselves in the offensive zone, but I feel like the Sooners have had more chances because off the rush, they're just doing a better job of getting into the zone and getting on the puck. And I think that's what Pete is looking for, is more of a dump and chase kind of game, get in there and win the forecheck battle, which is what the Sooners have been able to do so far, and the Illini just have not been able to establish a good forecheck yet.
Yeah, and it doesn't reflect it in the shots, because right now Illinois is outpacing the Sooners 10-7, but shot there from Best. Not to knot things up, but the quality of chances for Oklahoma has definitely outweighed Illinois so far.
Yeah, OU having more opportunities in the slot area with rebounds and just deflected shots as well versus the Illini, who are shooting from the points in the outside more.
Dribbling puck out in front of Ford was cleaned up by Wolf. 30 seconds left.
That net was in Narnia.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that.
Did not.
The post was in the middle of the blue paint. I don't understand why that wasn't blown dead, but
They didn't get that last shot for Aaron Best there.
yeah, I don't think they've had a couple shots that they've missed. I think the shots are closer to
10-10.
I would say even closer to like 15-13.
Okay.
Because they didn't count that last Illini shot either.
Interesting face-off drop there by the official. Shot tipped and a good tip by Verassi.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the opportunities that the Illini need to establish more, gain those high tips in the slot and have somebody crash the net.
Good job here for Oklahoma. 3-on-3 rush. Developing Glass. Down low. Shot fought off. Kept in the sticks of Mativ. Backham on that last chance for OU. 1 second left. Time will wind down. Not before it gets a little chippy as Backham gives a couple of friendly shoves.
Again, OU with another strong chance in front of the net. That was a great entry, able to get that weave through and establish kind of a one-on-one with the goalie. Obviously not a great angle, but another great opportunity for a rebound.
Well, things are knotted up 0-0 at the end of the first period. We'll have an intermission report with Sky Schreck coming up. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Sooner hockey fans, to your first period intermission report. I'm Christian Markey, alongside me, Sky Schreck. Sky, first of all, how were your holidays?
Pretty good time. I spent some time in OKC, went down to Dallas for a little. I was kind of all around.
All around is kind of how this game's been so far for both of these teams. You know, again, we've alluded to it, Willie and I did earlier in the broadcast. First time ever meeting between these two teams, and you wouldn't know it. Based on the physicality, it seems like, they're very familiar foes with each other, with how the hitting kind of progressed throughout the game. We were talking about it towards the end of the period. You wouldn't even know that they weren't a WCHL team. They feel like a Colorado or a Colorado State. And so, Sky, what were your kind of observations on that?
Yeah, it was a very even game between the two teams. I think you saw a lot of fast hockey, and I think you saw a lot of very hard play. Obviously, like you said, Oklahoma has never played Illinois before, but it looked like they came out prepared for anything and were really playing hard in that first period.
The other notable point, too, is the shots were indeed flipped. Willie and I were just about losing our minds, as you probably heard earlier. The in-house scorekeeper made the correction, so shots at the end of the first period were in favor of OU 11-6, and it reflected in that regard as well as the quality of opportunities that OU had in that period.
Yeah, OU's best chance was probably that 2-on-1 breakaway there about halfway through the period with Nate Payne in on net. Didn't end up getting anything out of it. Illinois' goalkeepers made some great saves all game long, but with 11 shots in the first period, if they keep at it, I don't think they'll be shut out for too much longer.
And the other talking point was the zone entries for Illinois in that regard were a bit rough around the feathers there for a little bit. Them getting established, they were really only able to get offensive zone times when it came off of an offensive zone face-off. So, Sky, what do you think there's some things that they need to work on in that regard?
Yeah, they had maybe one or two chances there in the crease in front of the net, but other than that, they had a really hard time getting that puck centered and getting it in towards the goal. They need to do a better job on that if they're going to score their first goal of the game.
Thanks for joining us in this intermission, Sky. We'll see you in the second. Sooner fans, stay tuned for the start of the second period. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Start of the second period has dawned upon us at Arctic Edge. Still a scoreless game. Both teams, I would have to say, definitely made adjustments. Maybe more so Illinois than Oklahoma, especially on the zone entries we talked about in the intermission report. But first goal in this season versus last season hasn't really been as much of a factor, at least for Oklahoma. Last season, I believe they'd only lost 1 or 2 games where they had drawn first blood. This season, it doesn't really, seems like games go any way, any direction, no matter what the stats say.
Back and forth every single game.
Kagan will chase it down, being followed by Matiev. High sticking, waved off.
Nice play.
Oklahoma touches it first. Charlie Blake enters. Backhand pass on to goaltender for Illinois. Nearly caught him lacking 5-hole. Ross enters. Amala pesters. Alex Kagan takes over for Oklahoma in the defensive zone, trying to work a long pass.
Yeah, and we'll see how this long change affects both teams.
Engine one-timer off the side by Mitchell. Sorry to interrupt you there, Willie. But
oh, no, I knew that was coming. That was a close one, too. Forden able to come across and really shut that angle off so he didn't have anything.
Spear runs into a man. Negated his shot opportunity. Mitchell clears it. You were saying about the long changes.
Yes, I was talking to Martin and how both teams came out very fast and then kind of slowed down and settled in halfway through the period. And these long changes, you can really get stuck in your own defensive zone for a long time if you're not able to get the puck in deep. So,
well, and based on what the first period told us, as Glass runs into the ref trying to get to that puck, that would favor Oklahoma heavily because they maintained the most ozone time and pressure, as it feels like they normally do, whether they're scoring a lot of goals or not. Spockham beat out that icing, or they waved it off anyways. Centering feed caught up by Ettingen.
That was a little get back for Glass run into the ref earlier. The linesman.
Yep. But yes, as I was saying, the Sooners seem to always just own a decent amount of ozone time, regardless of if it's a 6-0 win or loss. And so with this second period, we'll look for them to try to open that up as Aaron Best enters. Aaron Best on goal. Brings it to his forehand. Aaron Best and an amazing pad save by Grady Solkin. Stuck it out, kicked the post in the process, and sealed off Aaron Best's opportunity.
Yeah, and Solkin, not the biggest goalie, but really able to explode off of his right leg to the glove side to block off that post from Aaron Best getting around him. But what a strong move from Aaron Best through the neutral zone, really using his speed to get around the defenseman.
Well, and Solkin's positioning was so good on that rush, and he really had to find a way to find some open net, and just decided pulling it to his forehand was the best option, and it was. Had he had elevated that just over the pad, it would be a 1-0 game here, but
I mean, yeah, Solkin just able to come across and really make that big save, and it's always hard to elevate when you're that close also.
Right.
So you usually want to try and just slip it around and around the pad, and like I was saying, Solkin just exploding with that right leg to the left side for the save.
Wisniewski chasing after it, trying to play it forward to Iandoli. Picked off by Best. Narvaez trying to hit a slide pass to Will Blake rather than dumping it. Turns it over on the other end. David Ettingen centers it. Pollock, shot, scores! Might have caught a piece of Alex Kagan, but nonetheless, the Fighting Illini draw first blood here in Edmond.
Yeah, the Illini able to establish they got Carr pinching early and just able to get around and get a 3-on-2 going. One going hard to the net, bringing the defenseman with him. And then a nice low shot beating Forden in 5-hole.
Now, hard to tell how that beat, if that got deflected or not. Forden would normally have those shots. It felt like it looked like it was working high and then ended up beating him 5-hole.
Yeah, it was in tight, though, and usually when the players are in tight, they want to elevate for the high glove or high blocker side. So Just a quick snapshot down low, and he was able to beat him 5-hole.
Dangerous chance out in front, and Illinois grabs a second. Puck play between Forden and Swain, not on the same page, took an awkward bounce, and just like that, 20 seconds after the first, they get their second from the likes of Verassi.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Coming off the old Zamboni doors over there and just scoring right out front. Forden was coming back around to stop the puck for the defenseman, and it's just unlucky for Forden. And you see it in the NHL all the time, those pucks coming off that stanchion and taking those awkward bounces, but you really don't see it around here as much.
No.
So that was kind of a rare sight.
Sooners quickly have a mountain ahead of them. Spear trying to center it for Blake. Just too far out in front of him, but Blake stays with it. Charlie Blake centers it. Spear gets his stick lifted and taken away by Rosansky, who gets stood up into by Gutierrez. Spear turns over. Rosansky dumps it in.
Yeah, and the Sooners really needing a strong response after a little bit of bad luck on that second goal.
Amala doing a good job getting that in. Misses Blake on the backhand.
I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Illinois clears it, no icing. Kagan chases after it.
I was going to say it's going to be up to the coaching staff to really get the players back into this. And usually Pete's able to get the players moving pretty good.
Kagan with a shot. Bockham on the rebound. Solkin's had an answer to everything. Payne from distance. That one pops up and over behind the net. Kind of caught him off guard. Good shot there from the veteran Nate Payne.
And Pete's really got these guys moving down low now.
Kagan, awkward angle to hold it in. Couldn't. Sooners touch up. Glass quickly re-enters. Works it down low.
And the door came undone.
Ah.
But yeah, it's really going to be up to Pete and Huber to kind of light a fire under the guys. I mean, you have a little bit of bad luck on that second goal, and the first goal, just a bad timing on the pinch, not able to pick the puck off. And you need to do it for your goalie. I mean, number one is keeping Forden happy. Or attempting to, anyway.
Aaron Best turnaround shot. Didn't get enough on it. Pollock with the first goal, Verassi with the second goal for Illinois. Being announced by Andrew Shepard in arena for the first time. Would probably like to be able to call some Sooner goals here in his first game as it's starting to pick up a little bit. Best getting pawed. I think they're going to take him. We might get a Sooner power play coming. And we will. Louis Iandoli's going to sit in the sin bin for roughing.
Yeah, usually you're not allowed to
grab his face mask. It's a face mask. Yeah, it's proper face mask on Aaron Best too.
It's a 15-yard penalty.
With his new captaincy orders, kind of taking a bit of an enforcer role.
Whoa! Watch out, Aaron Best, big enforcer guy now.
I sure see him with a mean right hook.
I'm sure his brother would love that.
Oh yeah. Sooners get their first look at the power play. Spear works it down low to Nate Payne. This is the spark they need tonight. Carr. Sideways to Payne. Down low. Blake. Back to Payne. Worked up to the point. Carr rips it from distance. Tipped, and the rebound was corpulent. And the Sooners couldn't get there to bury it. Solkin left it for room service. Puck still kept in for the moment. Spears worked out of the zone. He'll re-enter. Good backhand pass over to Nate Payne. Stretched over to Amala. Amala works it down low, and you can see the vision there. And now shorthanded goes Illinois. McLaughlin in on Forden. Good blocker saved by Forden. McLaughlin had the 5-hole open on Forden for that rush.
I think Forden was kind of baiting him to go up high on the blocker side, and he got what he wanted.
Puck worked out of the zone. Sooners with another chance on that last zone entry. They're trying to work fast and efficient. Illinois just doing a good job of being in the right place at the right time right now.
Yeah, and I like that try by Amala looking for Carr down low for that backdoor pass. And if he got through, it was wide open.
Best feed to glass there. Shot on center mass for Solkin. Might have been one of the easier ones he's faced tonight. Everything else has kind of been all over the place.
I know Solkin is playing one heck of a game right now, and both goalies really are kind of shutting down a lot of chances from both teams. Of course, Forden with the unlucky bounce.
Ooh. Long distance shot from Kagan. Got batted down by something.
I think Best ended up getting a stick on that in front of the net.
Narvaez can't work it free. Berkey now Ettingen. Ettingen, wrist one, caught Forden up high in the shoulder area, now to play. 24 seconds left on the power play for the Sooners.
Forden had to come out and fight that with his shoulder. Kind of got that at an awkward angle. I don't think he was really expecting a strong shot from Ettingen.
Sooners will have to go the distance to make it count on this power play with sub 30 on the clock. They do win the face-off. Carr just can't get it worked up and worked out. Eventually, through some puck luck and bounces, does. Enters. Carr drops it off for Best. Good pinch there by the Illini defenseman, and then a collision in behind Solkin. Not really sure what the story of that was. Sooners caught offsides, whistle down, and that will do it for the power play. But good opportunities for both teams, actually for both teams there.
Yeah, I mean, the Illini getting that opportunity on the breakaway that Forden was able to shut down, and a couple strong opportunities in front of the net again for the Sooners that they just can't finish on right now.
It's going to take so Daryl Razor Ray would say, greasy cookie type of goal to break the seal on Solkin.
And Solkin really the main reason that the Illini are, it's almost like they feel comfortable, you know?
Right.
They feel comfortable like being able to give up those opportunities and go in a counter push on the rush with having an extra guy high.
Give a lot to get a little. It's been working. Good job there by Josh Bells, hacking at that to keep it in pure, no icing. Davison and Belsey working down low, turned over.
I've also noticed a lot of high sticks from both teams today. Just kind of catching people up high. I'm surprised the refs haven't really came over and talked to the benches at all.
Good play there by Spear. Illini were begging for an offsides call. It looked like it might have been.
I think they would have got it.
The refs were turned around in the wrong direction to see that. But an icing here against Illinois. Long shift for this personnel group.
Yeah, it's not necessarily now or never, but the Sooners are kind of on this pace where they're establishing themselves in the offensive zone more than they were in the first period. So I think keeping up this pressure is really important to the rest of this game.
Centering feed for Swaim out front. Shot right at Solkin. A lot of space for that.
Swain more of a stay-at-home defenseman, I would say, so not used to seeing those.
It's like seeing a gold scar in Fortnite just sitting right in front of you.
Eyes were a little big. I think Swain's going to have another opportunity here. I can feel it.
Well, you were mentioning the high stick stuff. It's a lot harder to enforce with the cages on, right? It's a lot, when you feel it as a player, it's just kind of like there's some contact, there's some pressure. But, nothing catches skin. It's kind of hard to really sell, too, as well, right?
You get it up near the neck. Because I've gotten high sticked a couple times in the neck, and I just go over to the ref. I'm like, you point at it. I'm like, come on, buddy, it's right here. Like,
yeah.
I am showing you the evidence. I didn't see it. No, that's not the point. You see it now, so call it next time. That's what I want. So I've been in a couple arguments with refs, and
Okay.
I know a couple other people that have been in arguments with refs about it.
Ross works in sort of a no-look shot. Dribbled wide of Ford, and he was teasing the pass to Mitchell. I think that would have been disastrous for Ford had that been on net because he wasn't set for it.
Yeah, I like that play, but you got to hit the net. And even if Forden got a piece of it, it's coming right out to your teammate on the back door for that rebound.
Good pass here. Tristan Glass works in. Shot it. Might have caught a piece of something and out of play.
Another missed net, though. You can't be missing the net. You got to get these opportunities for rebounds. And I feel like the Illini and the Sooners both have really just haven't been able to find shots to get these rebound opportunities.
Yeah, second chance efforts have not really been bountiful.
I mean, you're talking about a greasy goal. That's how you get them. You throw it down low, you get a awkward rebound, and you go in there and battle for it, which the Sooners actually did a couple times early in the first period, but the second period, it's more been tips opportunities, not really rebounds.
Kagan looking to break out, quarterbacking this unit. Flung one down ice. It's going to work out for Oklahoma, though, as Glass, for the moment, got established, but was quickly directed out of the zone. Bockham cut down by David Ettingen. Kept in by Glass, however. Glass trying to work it with Narvaez.
Both these Ettingen brothers have been playing well today. Kind of just controlling the pace when they're out there together, and
Ross
even when they're against each other.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's kind of where you believe that they are going to get rewarded for their efforts. And if you're a Sooner, you're not liking to hear that.
Correct. And I would full-heartedly agree with that. This one is going to have enough for icing. So the Sooners will have to stay out there. About a minute 30 shift so far for this group.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big shift for the Sooners because, like I was saying, with that long change, now you have an icing. It's going to be even harder to get all off. And
I'm not sure if Tristan Glass got off for a change, but Best steps on there.
You fake a little injury once in a while.
Ooh, and Best gets ran into. We've said that about 5 times tonight already on his return. Kagan nearly doing it all there for a moment, takes a seat, and the other way goes Illinois. Pollock, the first goal scorer, second one, sets up a shot. Forden saves it. Good look there for Illinois, kind of a response to all the ozone time that the Sooners have established so far after the first 2 goals.
Yeah, now the Illini kind of weathered the storm, and we'll see if they get some opportunities in the offensive zone that they haven't gotten in the last, I would say, 10 minutes since that second goal. Well, even before then, because the second goal was a fluke, so. That's probably the worst as a goalie. You know that's, like, ruining your save percentage.
Shot from distance on a Forden. Save. That one was looking for traffic, couldn't find it. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's kind of a stinker.
Yeah, you're like, because right now, and if you think about it, Forden would be, 1 for 12. So
yeah.
He's like a 9.4, I believe.
Well, and the story on the stats for Tolkien, and then the other netminder who's not rostered right now tonight, they have Diaz as their backup, who is kind of serving as the same spot at Lacroix, where they'll see some games on the bench, occasionally go in for 1 or 2 at the start or the end of the season, but they have a really good tandem working, just like OU does with Forden and Payne. South of 2.5 goals allowed average, and then north of 9.25 save percentages for the both of them, each matching each other and wins equally at about 10.
Yeah, and the Sooners obviously not having a great start to the season in the first semester, but having those 2 back there really just kind of locks it down for them.
It does, and yeah, you mentioned it. It was a good start to the first half of the first semester, and then it kind of just tapered off towards the end of it.
Injuries and the football season doing a little too well.
Yeah. Rebound chance for Illini Fought off by Carr. That puck's going to be flipped out of play.
That was a Mitch Marner play when he was on Toronto. By the way, Leafs did lose to Vegas last night.
They
Very
did.
sad about that.
That was a good comeback for Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not happy about it. I don't think anybody in this broadcast crew ever have and will be fond of that team for many reasons. But
I just like Marner. Should have been on Toronto still.
well, if he wanted to, he would have. Sorry. Shot from distance goes wide.
Because we have a bad fan base. Because half of our fans like to make threats for no particular reason.
That's never going to help anything.
Anybody that makes threats at pro athletes is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Jealousy,
Yeah.
envy.
Classic Philly mentality. Go tell Hubes that.
Ettinger working in for Illinois on a Forden. Puck loose off the crossbar. Another chance there, fought off by Forden. Sequential sequences.
And Forden making 2 really big saves there. He's really got to keep these Sooners in the game.
We're going to say that puck never exited the zone. Charlie Blake in. Fought off by Sulkin, and the rebound for Amala. Now Amala again out in front of the net off the crossbar and out of play. No, it stays in. Another shot on a Sulkin. Goodness.
Wow. Sulkin really just having 3 golden opportunities and snatching them away from the Sooners.
And those are the best goal scorers out there with Amala and Blake. Yeah, if there's anybody to bury it, it's
Amala,
them.
Blake, and Spear.
And Spear, yes.
I mean, there's 2 of your top 3 goal
The Holy
scorers
Trinity.
from the first semester. And Sulkin just took 3 golden opportunities away with the help of the post on the second one from Amala. But if you're the Sooners, you're looking at that and you're like, the only way to score on this guy is going to be a rebound.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and Amala on that chance, just if he was a left-handed shot instead of a right-handed one, he would have had a good forehand chance to bury that. It was just on his offhand. Now Bockham in looking to center it, tried to just push it in. Glass on a second chance there, caught some bodies. Sooners offense is definitely waking up. We'll see what happens in the next 5 minutes of this period.
Yeah, Pete has lit a fire underneath them right now, and they are moving.
With good intention, Bockham, great pass into Payne, who just flips it up and skates off. I don't know why that made me laugh, but I was expecting him to just hum in with a full head of steam, but
that's a classic old guy move right there.
Blake of the Will variety, little reverse check there. Rims it around the corner, and a good check by Trenton Swain. They're going to say no interference. It was a well-timed hit. Turned around to face the ball, PI type of call.
Yeah, I don't know.
Burke from
and
distance.
Illinois is asking the same questions I would be.
Swain is going to hear the residuals from that.
Yeah, the Illinois bench asking the same questions I would be. And where was the puck? And
I think it was bang bang. I mean, I think it was right there. At least how I saw it.
But I didn't think the Illini forward touched the puck.
I think it could have. I think it clipped.
But then
him.
again, from our angle, I can't see his back foot or his back skate.
Right.
So, I mean, Swain might have just made the perfect timing on the hit.
I think it was an immaculate hit.
I mean, I'm not against it. I enjoyed it.
Long stretch pass floated down to Amala. He stays on sides. Charlie Blake turns it over. Oh, and a hit up high on Randall's. They're going to call that. We had a great angle of that.
Yeah, Randall's taking a cross check right to the jaw. And I think the line getting a little frustrated with the reffing in Oklahoma right now.
And a big chance here to close out the second period in the golden hour of OU hockey. Sub 5 minutes in a period with a power play. You can't write it up any better.
Especially the second.
Yeah.
And the second's been the bread and butter first semester.
John McLaughlin will take a seat in the bench. Good job keeping that in, did it, Mike Amala. Now Payne looking to work. Payne surveying. Ill-advisedly dropped it back into 2 Illini sticks.
Yeah, Nate Payne's got to work that back up to Mike Amala and kind of keep that forward game tired. He's making a lot of stops and starts. That's how you tire the forward of the killers out real quick.
Ryan Carr enters for Oklahoma. Payne centers it. Bockham scores! Carson Spear answers on the power play. What a shot, Big Red.
And what a great start to the play. Carr gets it in, passes it across. Nate Payne able to catch it with his foot after making up for that mistake that he made on the last offensive opportunity. He makes a strong play over to Spear, and Spear able to just rip it home.
Kudos to Ewan Randalls, Jesuit Ranger alumni like myself, drawing that power play, getting physical, getting in the minds and the eyes of the Illini, and the Sooners' efforts to get back into this game.
And now I know Pete Arvanitas right now is telling them one bounce and you're right into this game, and it's a tie game going into the third.
And it is, with the way the Sooners have kind of been pressing the NOS button on the simulator here tonight in this second period. It's only a matter of time if they can keep up what they're doing right now just for a little bit longer. There's no doubt that they can catch up and possibly even get a lead here.
But you really don't want to give this right back. If you give it right back, all the momentum you just built is just deflated.
That face-off, false start there. See, we're just saying with that, I mean, that would have set up a really good chance for Berkey there. Verassi, the most recent goal scorer for the Illini, will take this draw, wins it cleanly this time, back to Berkey. Carr will take over. Set up that last goal well. Aaron Best has a trailer. Best gets turned around. Sooners wanting another penalty there. Didn't look like enough to draw it. Fortin's going to come all the way out to play this. Roz nearly picked it off. That was close. Blake, ill-advised. Clearance, Carr there to sweep up the dirty laundry. Taken out by Aaron Best. Good forecheck here for the Sooners. Best shaking off the puck. Good move there by Burke. Illini enter. Kagan goes down, or Carr goes down. Rather, Payne labors over to the puck, gets it out. Rosansky looking to stretch forward. Payne cuts it off. Center ice. Glass enters for Oklahoma. Holds up on his backhand. Tristan Glass. Couple of nice moves. Just trying to work it free. Gutierrez didn't want to chase that. Put himself in a vulnerable position for an odd man rush. Bockham awkwardly off the boards. Works out in Glass's favor. Sooners weren't able to hold the line. Wolf just getting on from a change.
Yeah, Wolf not able to keep that puck in, because if he did, it would be too many men on the ice.
Ooh, shot right up into the face of Wolf. He's going to take it the other direction with some tenacity. Wolf drops it off. Bockham shot! Just caught a piece of the glove of Solkin.
Yeah, and Solkin kind of, he was screened by his own defenseman, and Bockham shooting straight through that, and Solkin just gained a piece of it.
From that release, I thought it was going in from our angle. But, yeah, you saw that glove kind of flash a little bit. Really just caught the top end of it, it looked like, from our angle, and it kind of flung off in a weird way.
Yeah, he kind of got it on the wrist slash, like, forearm area of his padding and just able to deflect out.
So those are the areas, if it was on the bottom part of that glove, that's going in off of that piece of equipment there.
Yeah, because the bottom area will twist with your wrist, because your wrist will absorb it and twist off, and then it'll just flutter back over it and go in.
The irony of this game, if Bockham, hypothetically shot it where there was less space initially, it probably would have gone in based on the motion of Solkin's arm, but You know, if my grandma had wheels, should be a bike.
Yeah, just looking at the 6-7 hole right under the arm. The arms. Yeah, don't do that, guys. We don't need to do 6-7 in the booth. Jesus.
You know what you were doing.
I did not know.
You knew what you were doing.
Dude, I'm 20, almost 26 years old.
Don't act naive.
That meme does not apply to me.
It applies to everything. Sooners still trying to get an answer.
All the parents watching right now do not know what that means.
I bet some of them do. Let us know down below, folks. Ettingen will dump it in onto Forden. Caught in center field. Muffed, though. Really dangerous. Centering feed just hacked down by Burke. Tip from Ettingen. What a tip. That's a really high IQ move right there. Nearly caught Forden on the far post. Forden's going to play this on his backhand. Just south of 30 seconds to go in the middle frame. That shot.
And the Sooners are playing survival hockey right now. They're just trying not to give up a goal.
Kagan working into it. Rosansky dumping down low. Centering feed. Good one at that. Noah Lyon and I were there to tack it. Bunch of deflections on that as well as it being on Solkin, so no icing. That should do it for this middle frame. And contrary to the first one, a very intriguing second period here at Arctic Edge where the Sooners were quickly victim to 2 goals in about 20 seconds apart from each other. One of them, you know, call it what you want, but it went into the back of the net. It's all that matters. And then
lucky.
The Sooners.
We can call it lucky.
Sooners on a really, really good power play setup. The likes of Carson Spear just able to beat Solkin with a couple more opportunities after that, and that's where we will end up. So we'll see you guys for the second period intermission report with Sky Schreck. I'm Christian Markey. This is Willie Baird. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Sooner hockey fans, to your intermission report. We would like to welcome the OU Hockey's newest corporate sponsor, Appliance for Less. Family-owned and veteran-owned for all your appliance needs. Go by 2 of their 5 locations, Northwest OKC in Norman, 8105 Northwest Expressway Street, OKC, 73162, and 1302 North Interstate Drive, Norman, 73072. Sky, that was a much more entertaining second period than what we saw in the first. Illinois started the scoring from the likes of Pollock, and then quickly, and I mean quickly after that, Arthur Pollock, the great shot, great setup from one of the Ettingen brothers, and then right after that, Verasi just off an awkward hop on those end boards down there where the entrance is for the opposing players, caught Forden lacking, and Verasi buried it. And, it was all downhill from there up until, the Sooners goal.
Yeah, that's not the first time over the last couple games that Oklahoma has allowed 2 goals within 20 seconds of each other and went from an advantageous position to immediately on the back foot. It happened in the UCO series as well and was ultimately the reason why they lost that game. So they've got to be able to calm down after those goals get scored on them and make sure that they don't have another one like that in quick succession.
It wasn't all sour grapes in the second period. However, towards the end of it, on their second power play opportunity, Carson Spear buried it. Walk us through that goal, Sky.
It was a great goal for Carson Spear. Kind of took a couple bounces up in front of the net, and Carson Spear was able to finish it off to make it 2-1 late for the Sooners, and now they've got 20 minutes to try to find that equalizer.
And on that goal, finally, for Nate Payne, the veteran, getting his first point of the season. I believe it was a secondary assist, but doesn't matter how he's got on the board. Mama Payne, I'm sure you're happy back home, cheering him on in his last season. And yeah, so the Sooners finally break the seal on Solkin. And, we were talking about how the Sooners would, if they were to get their first goal, how it would look like. And between me and Willie up here, at least, we thought it was going to be kind of a greasy cookie, clean up a rebound type of goal. But it was a clean shot from Spear and obviously developed on the power play. But, what do you think the Sooners need to keep kind of putting their pedal to the metal on for this final frame to tie things up and try to take the lead?
I mean, they've really just got to keep the pressure on. They took 14 shots in that period. It took until the power play for one to actually go in. But with 25 shots on goal, I think if you keep taking those and keep getting those opportunities, I mean, they could easily end up over 40 by the end of this game. At a certain point, it almost feels like something has to break for them.
We will see what happens in this third period. Thank you for joining us, Sky. You will also be here tomorrow in the booth in place of Willie as he goes to cheer on his Denver Broncos. We'll bring you action from the start of the third period coming up in just about 6 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Sooner hockey fans. Third period is finally upon us at Arctic Edge. Sooners trail 2-1. As we alluded to in the intermission report, Sooners are not strangers to allowing multiple goals in quick succession. And I'll just try to save face and ignore and push away that mistake that was made by Forden and the unfortunate bounce to try to come back with a victory in this one. So, shot quickly in on Forden. Oh, Illini goes into the boards there. Gets up, though.
Yeah, ice is slippery.
Spear enters cleanly. Spear in the way of the ref again. Second time that's happened. Spear turns it over. Carr does. Gutierrez working in there, writing off the early Illini offensive opportunities. Amala takes it away from the pile, has a 2-on-1. Amala gets it over just too far in front of Charlie Blake. Works back quickly, caught up in the skates of the referee in the corner. It'll start sounding like a broken record, but I want to point it out. It's up to 3 times now that's gone against the Sooners.
Ooh.
That's maybe why
Ref
that
giving
penalty
the dive
wasn't.
signal.
Yeah. Working some grace in that department. Glove pod down by Rosansky. Good stick lift by Will Blake.
I heard acting classes were expensive.
Karen Narvaez trying to work it out. Ross keeps it in. Stabs at it with a stick. Rosansky kept it alive. Rosansky shot on a Ford, and that rebound was all over the crease. Attentive stick work by the defense. That shot's blocked by Narvaez.
Yeah, and the Illini kind of just winning the puck battles right now. It's bouncing everywhere, and they're just working harder to go get it.
Puck at the point. Might have slipped past the blue line for a moment, but stays in.
I think he kept that one in.
This one is worked. One-timer. Muffin. No problem there for Ford. Could have been dangerous with a rebound there, but this shot blocker saved by Ford and had a lot more English on it. Now Kagan will try to work it out of the zone. Great pressure here for the Illini.
Some of us just aren't very good at one-timers.
I'd say that if I were to put on a pair of skates right now, that'd be the one thing that would just no go on that.
Yeah, mine had to be super slow if they were coming at me. Anything with some speed on it, I'm not hitting it. That's a catch and shoot.
Payne working that right defensive spot. Sooners are finally able to clear it. They're going to say no icing. I think it hit the boards right around center ice. And a great hit by Tristan Glass, putting the oomph in McLaughlin.
He's using all that 230 pounds that he has. I mean, the guy that definitely works out the most out of all the Sooners is Tristan Glass, so he can deliver some thump in his hits.
All that's great, but the Sooners are still struggling in their defensive zone right now.
They're hemmed in. The Illini are just outworking the Sooners right now.
Nate Payne, some shifty moves, springing forward this rush. Gets it onto the stick of Bockham. Tight angle shot right in the jugular of Solkin.
I believe that's David Ettingen, and he is grabbing at his ankle. He is not. He's looking a little worse for wear right now.
Keep an eye on that for this game and the next one. Charlie Blake, good face-off win out to Kagan. Kagan slide steps in traffic. Kagan fires a shot. Not sure where that ended up at. Nonetheless, smart to hesitate, not take the first look you get.
Definitely came off a couple of shin pads.
Puck quickly worked in transition the other way. Scavone works it down low, centering feed up top. Shot, glove saved by Ford and saw it the entire way. Wisniewski.
But the Illini are just zipping around the ice right now. They're definitely playing with a lot more speed than the Sooners are.
They look like a brand new team after that intermission.
A couple extra squirts of water.
Smelling salts.
Maybe even some Powerade.
Yeah.
Whoa, get crazy
If you're
with
feeling
the Powerade.
dangerous, yeah. Don't have too much now.
Get on a little sugar rush at the start of the third period.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, that means that Crash is coming probably 5 minutes to go.
Ooh, the Sooners' time to be alive.
Tristan Davison and Griffin Joy working this rush. Griffin Joy centers it. Davison was fought off by McLaughlin and redirected outwards. We're going to get a penalty call for a hook. Dangerous Sooner power play will step back out there. You saw it before I did. It was.
I think they called the Davidson. I wouldn't necessarily call it a hook. I would have called it more interference.
That's what I saw too.
I believe it was
Wisniewski.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Davidson was crashing the net, and obviously one of the fastest guys on the ice always, and got to slow him up somehow.
Huge power play opportunity for Oklahoma to tie things up. Carr, drop pass, shot from Wolf, rebound. Couldn't find Spear.
Tamala over there on that side.
They look very similar, and their numbers are 9 and 8. So it's.
Well, I'm not blaming you. That's why I don't call names.
Charlie Blake working up the seam, gets it in deep. He's got Spear and company to help, but flings it into no man's land. It's flung down, cleared. Forden out to play it quickly. Leaves it for Amala. Good early PK work from the Illini. Not really allowed for any chances for the Sooners. Blake works it in. Amala, drop pass. Payne just a step behind. Sooners have space. Carr sets up a shot, caught up in the bodies of the Illini. I was looking for a tip with Spear. You could see that.
Never mind. I was calling for, see if Forden was going to look for the stretch pass to Carr, but he made the smart decision not to. A couple of Illini stayed on the ice.
Sulkin trying to play it off the boards and out. Couldn't. Carr's still working in there. Sooners get set up. Glass. 42 seconds left on the power play. Plenty of time. Puck work down low. Carr has along the end boards. Not quite sure what he was doing here. Now a shorthanded rush, potentially. Ross has speed. Ross, nice move. High flip. Shot up on an angle. And we'll get much on it. Now the other way, Gary Narvaez. Narvaez in. Shot. Saved by Sulkin. Pulled it to his forehand at the last second there.
The Sooners.
He was definitely going blocker on that. Just didn't get the angle right.
Yeah, the Sooners, I feel like on the power play, have been getting their best opportunities on the rush, which is something that you usually don't say about the power play.
Well, and when I came 3 years ago, God, I don't know how long it's been. It seemed like every goal that the Sooners were scoring came on odd man rushes, and these chances would come, 5 to 6 times a night. And then all of a sudden, over the last couple of years, the Sooners haven't really been able to get too many odd man rushes naturally. Power play aiding with that. Aaron Best shot.
Maybe that's why I stopped scoring so much. Because I'm not an odd man rush kind of guy. I'm too slow.
In transition, Mitchell's shot in the skates of Nate Payne. Right place, right time for him. That would have been a tough one for Forden to battle. Good job there by the vet.
Yeah, and the Illini kind of able to snatch some momentum, I would say. I mean, they really came out flying at the start of the period. Now they've killed this off. Really swinging the momentum back in their favor after a bad end to the second period for them. Obviously a great start to the second period for them.
Shot paddled away by Forden, no problem. Mitchell working it back to Burke. Burke swings it over. An easy glove save there for Forden.
Yeah, now it's just going to be up to the Sooners to kind of build up their momentum again. Putting the Bells line out with, looks like
Joy and Davidson.
Joy and Davo.
I like this Randalls and Wolf pairing in this game right now. I think they've been...
Yeah, Randalls has really impressed me. Obviously a guy that hasn't gotten a ton of ice time in the first semester, and now he's really eating up some big minutes for these Sooners.
They're going to not call icing on this, and Sooners are going to try to forecheck here, get set up.
And this is what you need from your fourth line.
Pollock working it over. Randall's chasing after it, switches off with Wolf. Good exchange there between those two to get in proper positioning to defend that rush. High flip, change.
I don't love the high flip there. He had a lot of ice to take. And you're just giving the puck right back to the Illini. And we were saying how the Illini couldn't really break in at all in the first period, and now they're kind of getting in every time.
Pass from Blake just got caught up in the skates of a defender. Good stick play by Swain. Avoids a check.
Swain also having a very good game today.
Not the biggest of guys, but making his physical presence known. See, on cue, shoves a man into the Sooner bench.
Oh, this is not good.
Turnover, puck swallowed up by Forden. You're right. That was
in front of the net. That is just
what's
not
your
a
analysis
smart...
of that?
That was dumb. That's the best word I got for it.
Yeah.
I mean, every coach from Might tells you not to bring the puck in front of the net, and I mean,
couldn't tell who that was.
No, I didn't see who it was either.
Aaron Best activated. Couldn't break in. Good angle by an Illini defenseman. Ended that rush for him. Now the other way. Versansky. Good poke check by Carr.
Yeah, the Illini are really getting on the forecheck now. They're keeping their feet moving and really giving the Sooner defensemen and Sooner forward some trouble getting out of their own zone.
They've completely flipped the script on how they're playing the game, making it a lot harder for me to anticipate where the puck's going for them and what the next play is going to be, because they have completely changed their mantra.
Yeah, they've completely flipped how they are playing and changed up their style of how they're forechecking.
It really feels like the Sooners have played a different team every period. And that's, I mean, that's got to work in your favor if you're the team that's able to do that. Switch up your identity.
I mean, it's
falter.
good. It's always good to keep the other team guessing, but you know, if you don't get into a rhythm in your own kind of space, it can be hard to kind of establish an offensive identity. But these Illini have just kind of put the pedal to the metal in this last period so far.
Face-off to be held at center ice. Shots in favor of the Sooners, 29-21.
I don't know how right that is. I feel like Forden's made more saves.
We're going to go with that number.
I mean, in general, over
yes.
21.
Yes.
Not in, I would say that the shots that are around the same mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't.
Who knows?
Well, they just counted that one as a
shot for the
the
Illini, and it's for the Sooners. Yeah. Yeah. Life goes on. What can you do about it? Nothing. Sooners take that face off. Randalls works it down the half wall. Blake in pursuit. Spear dumps it off. They were not on the same page.
That's why BCB took track of his shots during the game. Like, he would tell whoever is in the scorebox.
Spear enters, activates. Spear trying to drag it. Too many sticks in the way.
I always thought that was funny when he would come out of the net and yell at the whoever was doing the scorebox how many shots they had on him.
That's BCB for you. Hope you're doing well in Sweden, bud. Randall's awkward deflection, just trying to keep it in off his skate, flung way too far. Barassi in there for the Illini, pulling it back, trying to fight off an army of cream. A lot of Sooners now met with Illini in the zone.
We're going to let that sit there.
It's going to sit on the half wall right there before it's taken away by Spear, poked out at the blue line. Amala fumbles it. Blake tried to paw it down.
Yeah, and some frustrations coming from the Sooner bench. I just heard a...
You can hear it, yeah.
Yeah. A word that we are not allowed to repeat.
Right, of course. I will say, I think Illinois might win the award for the most tame bench language we have heard in Arctic Edge. Couple open ice hits. One of those maybe probably should have been interference.
Yeah, I would say the Illini bench is very calm.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, most teams that come into here, obviously some heated rivalries, so a lot more F-bombs and language used. But I also haven't seen a coaching staff as relaxed as they are.
Yeah, I agree.
They are leaning against the glass.
Poised.
Yeah,
Poised.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's a big word for me.
Big word for Willie. That's all right. Centering feed. Oh, and what a chance there for the Illini. We had a break and play, it felt like, for about 2 or 3 minutes where not a lot was happening. And then
kind of just some back and forth neutral zone. And
yeah. Gutierrez gets stapled into the wall. Centering feed out for Forden, and a good stick heads-up play by Bockham. He read it the entire way. Glass goes down to block a shot, laboring in some pain a bit. Puck up high, worked back to Anderson.
And the Sooners are just falling all over the place. The defensive zone has just kind of broken down, but here comes Bockham.
Bockham with a rush chance. Skylar Bockham wrist one right on Skolkin. Rebound was there. Just poked loose. I'm going to call a penalty against Oklahoma. Both of them are going.
Wow. I cannot believe Bockham got away with one right there.
We're getting an unsportsmanlike and a slash. Huh.
I can't believe that. I mean, Bockham got him, like with the slash on behind the play. I don't know if the camera caught it.
I didn't see it. Yeah, okay.
Well, I was looking back, and, you know, I'm waiting for a fight.
Was there a retaliatory?
No, I mean, Anderson really did nothing. That's what I'm surprised about.
Okay.
That the ref took both of them. I mean, yeah, Bockham got a little cross-check in front, but I'm impressed.
Maybe it was.
It's not that I'm impressed. I'm just confused why Anderson got a penalty.
Perhaps that kerfuffle had developed a little bit previously in the play that we didn't pick up on, the referee saw.
From what I saw is that from the start of the play, Bockham was in the D zone and kind of he was playing aggressively, I would say, and Anderson gave him a shot. But then you're coming down the ice and Bockham got him. Like, he slashed him. So
players falling all over the ice on their own free will here. Sooners trying to break out on this 4-on-4, which I feel like is something we've seen for some reason a fair amount. The Sooners.
Yeah, and Carr's asking for somebody to come pick the puck up. He needs a change. There you go.
He'll get off. Kagan will step on. Sooners will kind of just take their sweet time with this.
Yeah, I don't agree with this. I mean, I think the Sooners have a better offensive unit out there right now than the Illini. But not when you're making bad passes like that. I mean, you got to catch a Mala in speed there.
Yeah, definitely ill-advised, and the Sooners just trying to catch their breath here. I think both teams are. All of a sudden, we've hit a wall here.
Yeah, it's kind of like that first period where everybody gasses out after the first 10 minutes, and now we're into the...
Alex Kagan has space, enters the zone, splits the D. Solkin paws it for an ice, but good moves there by the defenseman.
Yeah, and Solkin with the smart play to cover that up. I'm going to say Kagan split right through the two defensemen. If Solkin played that, he was winning that race and could have established something off in the offensive zone for the Sooners.
Illini trying to break out on their own. Charlie Blake making it a problem. Malas as well, forechecking 4-on-4 action here. Mitchell surveys, enters, dangles. Mitchell into the corner. Kagan meets him kindly. Puck works back out to the top of the zone. Exits
Smart
the zone.
play by Mitchell.
Not forcing it. Illinois gets off for a change. 4-on-4 time is over.
He almost lost that and put it in his own net. I don't know if you saw
I did not
that, but
pick
there
that
was a
up.
bobble. The ice monster might have given the Sooners a little bit of help, but
under 5 minutes to go here in the third period. Sooners still trail 2-1. It's interesting to see the way this entire period's played out. Very quickly it has. Can't believe we're already down to 4 minutes, just about.
yeah, not a lot of whistles, especially in the middle. I feel like there was a good, 5 to 10 minutes that we didn't really have anything getting called or blown dead.
Glass Brothers trying to unite here. Haven't seen or said a lot of Carson tonight.
Yeah, he's been rotating in with Joey and Davo there. So
Solkin catches that pass. Illinois will have no problem taking their time. Sooners working 3 in the zone, though, right now.
yeah, and if I'm the Sooners, I'm pressuring. You got to start pressuring at this time of the game.
Almost into Forden exiting the net territory. We've got a couple minutes or so, but
If I'm Pete, I'm looking at getting it deep. You got to get an offensive zone face-off, and I'm telling all my guys this.
centering face shot scores. What a turnaround backhand
And you did not need that.
to virtually put the dagger into the heart of the Sooners. David Ettingen gets on the board.
I mean, we've been calling him all day. He's had a great game, and I said he was going to get rewarded, and he got rewarded. I mean, he's been finding those pucks in the offensive zone and really picking it up for this Illini offense.
This has kind of been the story of the back half of the first half for the Sooners, where when they're good in spurts, but when they're bad and just not on the ball, they really struggle to sort of collect themselves and reestablish.
The Illini coach giving some final words for the line that's going to go out and kind of finish this game out possibly.
Well, and now Forden's going to go at a moment's notice here once the Sooners work the puck in.
Yeah, Forden needs to get going now.
Griffin Joy working into the
Come on,
zone.
Joy.
Makes a man miss. Joy throws one on Solkin. Saved. Forden's going to stay or
No.
go about halfway out, see what happens on the face-off.
I disagree with this move. I think you need to take Forden now. Honestly, I would probably take my timeout and get everybody ready for what's about to happen for the last 3.5 minutes.
Garrett Narvaez to take this face-off. Will Blake on that shot. Pollock in transition. Forden gently plays it up to Carr. Carr working to get it up and in the zone. Ryan Carr, what a move. Carr deflected out of play.
That was a great move by Carr. Kind of unlucky with the stick over there.
Forden's still going to stay home. 3:11 left. Sooners have gotten a couple good rushes and chances here. Trying to maybe see if they can't get one more without having to pull them.
I mean, you got your top scoring line out there now. Oh, and here comes the timeout. So,
Yeah.
well, you got your top scoring line out, and now, in my opinion, in my humble coaching opinion,
Okay.
I would have this line out there, and I would have Kagan and Carr out there exactly how he has it, and then I would put Glass in the bumper position in the top of the slot because Glass is just so good in that bumper position.
Yes, he is.
And he's able to win those puck battles, man. I mean, he's got a big body, and he uses his weight well. So,
Well, and also hit you with a surprise shot from that. You know, there's an angle on the goalie from that spot sometimes.
I mean, he gets it somehow. I mean, that's how
He's
that
got
was
to
his
work.
bread and butter last year.
He's got to work the face-offs, though. I feel like he's the best face-off man for the Sooners.
Yeah, it's either him or
Carson's not bad at him either.
yeah, but you can't have Carson Glass out there. I don't think he brings enough offensive punch. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a defensive, like, he's perfect on the PK. I mean, how many times has he been scored on this year on the PK?
I can't
Twice?
think. Yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
And the Sooners were really struggling in that back half. And I don't think it was ever against his unit, But we'll see who they put out there. I don't mind Spear taking the face off.
Well, this is it, folks. 3:11 left in the final frame. Sooners need 2 goals.
They added Aaron Best out there, which I don't mind that either. He's always getting grimy goals.
Oh, and they blew the whistle too early.
I don't disagree. I think that's actually going to help the Sooners out because there was another save and that puck was trickling out to the corner.
Okay.
So there was more time off the clock right there.
Well, do you agree that it was a premature whistle?
It was a premature whistle. But I think that's actually going to help the Sooners out.
Spear takes the face off. Won pretty much identically. Carr looking to get set up. Kagan one-timer. Caught a piece of something in front of the net. Sooners look to cycle. Wolf in behind the net. Kagan over to Carr. One-timer. Caught Mitchell in the process of making its way towards the net, and then a pass off the net. It's turned over. Carr keeps it in. Good move. Carr works it back to the point. Best in space. Kagan. Wrist one into the shins. Spear. Down low. Amala. And a glove save by Solkin.
That was a great move by Mike Amala down there. Able to work that around his body and onto his forehand.
Great chances for Oklahoma. It's crushed about 40 seconds. Actually, exactly 40 seconds.
Carr and Kagan working the puck up top well with Aaron Best right now. And if I'm the Sooners, I'm doing more of that and getting it down low and trying to shoot it more, getting Spear in front of the net. Because Spear, another big body that gets in front of the net well.
Sooners doing a good job of tying up these face-offs and then getting the puck out of the scrum in the midst of it. Bunch formation going for Illinois on the defensive end of things, all lined up on the left. Carr turns it over, shot fired. Good job by Kagan to mitt that down. That doesn't feel too good on a cold Arctic edge ice surface. Amala works it all the way around the corner, kept in by Carr. Carr back down low. Sooners are able to get set up. Kagan holds the line, swings it over to Carr. Shot on net, tipped, rebound. Pushed into the corner, kept in. Another chance here for Oklahoma. Now Blake in front of the net, he scores! Charlie Blake cuts the lead to 1. The Sooners have life with 1:37 left.
And you were talking about a greasy goal. Sometimes you just got to get a good, favorable bounce, and Will Blake is able to bury that over the blocker side.
It's a great shot by Charlie Blake, in tight, down low. We're talking about how hard it is to elevate the puck down there. He's able to get it just over the blocker, Solkin, and gosh, I wish that unit could stay out there for an extra minute and 37 because they were getting it done.
That was a hard-working shift, though. You need to have this second unit out there. And I tell the second unit, you got to go out there for 20 seconds, try and get the puck in deep, get a face-off, and get that the first unit back out there again.
Davison trying to get established for Forden's exit.
Forden's got to go.
It's tied up.
That's
Exited the zone. They're going to say hit something on the bench. So face up, yeah.
Yep, and now you get that first unit back out there. Here we go.
Things
This is the
working
game
in
right
favor.
here.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised to see if Illinois takes their timeout here too, though. Or at
If I'm Illinois, I'm taking my timeout. I'm getting my first unit rested. Well, the coaching staff not making any moves to do so.
Spear, can he win a 4th faceoff in a row? He's going to get booted.
Oh. He was asking a question. He got
Kagan just misses Carr. He wasn't eyeing it. You can hear it on the ice. Stay high, says Illinois.
Oh.
Bad turnover there. Ross misses the empty net. Illinois gets to it first. Turned over. Sooners have it, looking to break out. Sooners have space, looking to stretch. Aaron Best read well. Puck turned over at the neutral zone, and that will do it for this game. Rosansky ices it. Cheers from the away end.
Yeah, a little ill-advised pass into the middle there.
Probably not going to see Sooner magic tonight, but with 48 seconds left, who knows?
But I would say the Sooners really showed some impressive heart at the end of the game, and something that was kind of missing at the end of last season. So maybe Pete has kind of lit a fire under them to, make a push this second half.
Shot into the bench. Gutierrez had to look out for that one. Caught him on the glove. Levinsky gets the goal to cap off this Illini third period. So they get 2 in the second, 2 in the third. Good hit there by Bauckham. Letting Mitchell know there's still a hockey game going on. This isn't fantasy land. Puck rung in. Fortin's just going to stay put. Swain trying to just chip it in. 20 seconds left. Down on the other end of the ice.
Oh.
Turnover shot from Narvaez.
Yeah, if that went in, we'd have an interesting situation.
Burke is just going to hold it, fling it down. It's going to exit the zone. 3 seconds left. And that will do it for this game. So the Sooners fall in game 1 to the Illini 4-2. They showed spurts of optimism, but unfortunately could not close it out with the comeback.
Yeah, the Sooners just not able to kind of get the end that they were looking for. I mean, I got to say, that was a close game. They would fit right in the WCHL.
I would agree, yeah.
They played a physical game. They're a fast team. I'm quite impressed with how cohesive they play.
Yeah. Well-oiled machine.
Yes, and I mean, what can we say? The goaltending just for the Illini today was impeccable.
Yeah.
I mean, really the main reason I would say that they won today.
Spear still having a discussion with the official about that face-off. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow night for Game 2. Sky will be in the booth alongside me. We hope you have a very pleasant evening. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, go Broncos.